right, we're live. What's going on, people? Making sure it's working. Cool. So tonight I want to talk about a client win, and the client's made like 33,600 in the last 12 days, with another one to close, another one to enroll tomorrow. Probably they're working on the funding, so that'll probably bring her over to 38,000 in 13 days. Which is pretty phenomenal. Let me give you a backstory. I'm going to show you I'll tell you how she did it. She came to me at the end of September and hadn't enrolled a client, I think, since January. It was like 8 months or something. And she'd done over like 400 calls, a lot of calls. But anyway, and she ended up turning her ads off because she was spending a lot of money on ads, like I think 7,000 a month or something, some months less. Anyway, and so she worked 1 month with me and didn't get any enrollments. She had a few calls, not a lot of calls. And then in November, she had 5 calls and she enrolled 2 clients, which was a 40% enrollment rate, which is good. Still hadn't turned her ads back on. And December and January were slow. Didn't have many calls because she didn't turn her ads on. End of February, turned her ads back on and it's just been crushing it. I mean, I don't even know what percentage she's enrolling. It doesn't matter. It's pretty high. And just been on fire. And we had a group call today, and someone was asking, like, what do you think the biggest change was? What happened? And she was like, she went on for a while about a lot of different things. So I'm going to go into it and tell you a couple of things, because ironically, I've worked with all kinds of people. Now most people come to me when they're like before they're about to quit. Like she was like ready to be done and get a job. And thank goodness she didn't, right? Because she's helping a lot of people right now, a lot of kids actually. So it's a good thing. But anyway, like I really like working with people who are like doing good. Like if someone's at like 20%, 25%, man, I can double the enrollment rate like pretty easily. Get them in the 50%, which sounds crazy for some people, but with this person, there was a lot of mindset blocks. There's a lot of things. So I'm going to go through a couple of the things that kind of we went through, and kind of how, depending where you're at with your enrolling, if you are struggling, if you're under 10% enrollment rate, under 5%, whatever, there's a couple things to keep in mind. If you're at 20%, you might want to skip this one because this isn't going to do much for you. But if you want to double it, hit me up because that's an easy thing. I can guarantee it too. I worked with an insurance sales trainer once, and man, it was fun because I could pick a couple things out, shift it, and he just killed it. He crushed it. It was easy. I could do it in my sleep. If I could take someone from 0 or 1% to 40%, I could take you from 25 to 50 or 60. So hit me up if you're interested. Anyway, let me jump into my iPad here, and I'm going to go over this. Whoa, that's not going to work. Hold on a second. Come on. It's not going to be positioned now. Come on. All right. There we go. Let me move it over a little bit here. And let's see how it looks. All right. It's a little big, but it's okay. All right. And let me grab my pencil, Apple Pencil. So let's go into this, man. So an analogy I like to use is, especially if you're struggling, what a lot of people don't get is, if you think I'm a horrible at drawing, so forgive this, but I'm going to do my best. Oh, that's okay. It's going to be like a rocket. It's not going to look good. It's going to look obscene. Okay. How can I do this? But let's just picture this as a rocket. It's going to be horrible. Never mind. You've derailed. I don't know how to draw a rocket. I should have probably practiced this. I'm going to draw a rectangle with a triangle, okay? And that's going to be a rocket, okay? So the problem that people don't understand is, like, a rocket, it takes like 95%, something like this. I might be wrong, but 95% of the energy before it even starts to move, right? So this is the problem when someone's really struggling in enrollment calls. They don't know what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. And the thing is, sometimes you can go quick. You can go right up to 80%, right? You're like 80% better. But the person feels like it's not working, right? Like nothing's working because they're not enrolling. right? And this was the first month with Sharon. She didn't enroll any people. She had a handful of calls, didn't enroll anybody, right? But the cool thing about when you have coaching is like we go over what they're doing well. You did this is fantastic, this is good, fix these couple things. And the thing you don't realize is they're at 80, she's at 80%, 85%, 90%, and you still haven't moved. But here's the crazy thing that people don't get. It takes a little bit to get to that 95%, but once you hit here, it's like zero effort. It's almost like, zero effort, and it keeps going, right? So when the rocket goes into space, it takes all the energy just to get up moving. But then once it gets going, it's easy. Well, that's why she's enrolling 7, is going to be her 8th client tomorrow, most likely. And she's getting so good that she knows if it's legit, it's legitimate, like logistical, where they had to pull the money out, move it around. So, but anyway, that's why it's easy now, right? So it's hard to understand. So some of the things that we worked on, okay, is this is her potential, right? Here's where she was at. She was literally like using this much of her potential, like seriously, like maybe 2 to 5%. And there was some mindset blocks and some other things, but like one of my skills is being able to talk to someone and see their greatness, see what's inside of them when they can't see it sometimes, right? So, and now she's literally like on fire. She's crushing it. She's like, and she's still, here's the crazy thing. She might get mad if I say this, but in my opinion, she's probably, I don't know, 40%, maybe 45% of her true greatness, and she's crushing it. Maybe she might be 50. I'll give her 50. I'll give her 50 because she's crushing it. But there's still all this greatness that wants to come out, and it will. It's like it's slowly coming out. So the cool thing is, when they asked, one of the clients asked her, like, what do you think it is? And she's like, one of the things she said that was powerful, she said that now she's the CEO of her company. And one of the things she struggled with was like making her own decisions. She used to, like most people, well, what should I do? What do you think I should do? She started to draw her line in the sand and like, this is what it is. And one big shift that I noticed for sure was she started having standards for herself and for her clients, where otherwise she might have made a concession and say, okay, but like now it was like, look at, here's what has to go on. They have to watch the webinar. If they don't watch the webinar, we reschedule the call. That's it. Not even an option. Okay. No, it's got to be whatever your things are for you, right? This is for her. And then if both the husband and the wife, because she worked with parents to help kids, they both needed to be on the call. It wasn't for a financial thing. It was because like literally she's working with both of them. So she needed both of them on the call. And if they weren't available, reschedule. So these little things, taking her power, owning her power, not taking her power back, but owning her power. That was a big thing. Another thing is she had a harder time with she had a little people-pleasing thing, like a lot of coaches do. So I made her do some exercises to get out of her comfort zone. And at the time, she didn't really like it when we first started working together. But I believe it was a catalyst to get the shifts going. I'm not going to get into all that. I work with my clients to talk about it. But it helped her get out of her comfort zone and started to really start owning her power and being comfortable with being uncomfortable, which I think is an important thing, right? Then the crazy thing starts to happen is when you believe in someone and they start to believe in themselves, right? And I think that's one of the best things about having the call reviews and the coaching is sometimes you don't know what you're doing right? Sometimes, even if you don't have an enrollment, but sometimes there was calls, like I remember one client, listen to the call, dude, that was fantastic. You did everything right in the call. Sometimes they don't enroll. This was their block they couldn't get past. The only thing I would say to do differently was to maybe handle it this way. But at the end of the day, you did everything you could. You went through the things. You handled the patterns. You called it out. At the end of the call, they were exposed. There was nowhere to hide. And at the end of the day, they have to walk across the line. So knowing that, having that feedback of what you're doing good, to keep doing that. Like one thing I listened to her calls, I couldn't believe when I first heard her call. she had an amazing tone. It was like fantastic. I was like, how are you not enrolling? You have the best tone I've ever heard. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, it's fantastic. And, but there was a lot of mindset blocks, a lot of blocks. And now she's getting calls. We just listened to a call, and like literally I was like, why didn't you like say right here, like at this point, you could have just went into your offer right here. They were done. The call went on another 20 minutes, 25 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, and still get the enrollment. And guess what they said at the end of the call? After she gave the price, guess what they said? I can't remember the exact words. Oh, that's very reasonable. That's a very fair price. In fact, basically saying it was almost like too low. And no objections. No objections. And she's doing everything right. She's knowing how to present her offer in a way that makes sense to the clients. And she's holding space for them. It's unbelievable. The coolest thing, let me switch back here. The coolest thing is not even the 38,000, whatever, 36, what is it, 33.6. That's not even the coolest thing. I mean, that's cool. Like, I think 11 days maybe. I put 12 days. I think it's 12, but it might be 11 days. Is who she's becoming along the way. It's unbelievable. I mean, this is a strong, powerful woman that is really speaking her truth. She's owning her power. It's beautiful. And like it's going to it shows up in every area of her life right now. So I'm very proud. I'm very humble that I played a part in that. Little part. I mean, she did the work. You got to do the work. There's no magic pill, magic bullet. But it's really about like finding your thing. And like she said, one of the things she didn't like the fast action discount, the incentive-based pricing. She didn't like it. So we took it out. And we just built a process that worked for her personality, her clients. And then we gave her the tools and freedom to, like, you don't have to, like, she used to stick with the script. I have to say everything on the script. And when you understand the concepts and the higher level things of why we do things in the call, you're free to go around where you want to go or where you need to go. So having that freedom is allowing her to trust herself. And that's where certainty comes from. That's where confidence comes from. We took everything out of her framework script that wasn't her. She was trying to be like someone else who was like a high D personality type. Like, I'm more like that. I could pull that off. But she couldn't. And she felt horrible. So finding something that works for you, you have to do this, guys, like, and girls. Find something that works for you, that you can be you. You can show up as you without your bullshit, though, without your limiting beliefs, without your stories. And you can shift some mindset things, thinking everyone's broke, everyone's this, getting sold on the client's objections. You start owning your power. It's easy. I know it sounds crazy. It's not easy to get there, but once you get there, once you get to that, the rocket gets going, it literally is effortless. And as one of my clients says, it's emotional. It's emotional sustainable. So like he feels good after his calls, whether they enroll or don't enroll, and that's important. You got to be in alignment. I know I'm not the woo-woo guy. I can't stand all this alignment and all this put your hand on your heart crap. It's all cool if you want to, but for me, it's about helping people, and it's about getting out of your own way so you can show up powerfully. So at the end of the call, they can step into their power and enroll with you. So that's all I got for today, guys. Went a little long, but I'm really proud of this client. She's amazing. And think about it. Like, think about like how you can show up on your calls to be more like you. If you need help with that, message me. This is my specialty. Especially if you're enrolling good. If you're enrolling like 20%, oh gosh, jeepers, it's easy. We could probably work together a month or two and double your enrollment rate. Seriously. And if you're really struggling, spending money on ads, like she had spent $7,000 a month on ads for many months in a row, and then lowered it a little bit without an enrollment. Most people can't do that. It's a lot of money. So if you notice the Facebook ads are going up, you don't need more leads. You don't need more, calls booked. You just need to be able to convert. I always say, if you have a hole in your bucket and you put water in, what happens? It just comes out, right? Well, the water is leads. So you just put more leads in and they just keep coming out. And what happens? You get burned out. You have to take too many calls. So just learn how to fill the holes in the bucket. Then you don't need that many calls. You get 10 calls a month and make more money you ever made in your life. So anyways, message me if you're interested. I'm doing another workshop. It's probably going to be a little different than the last one, but end of the month. I'll let you know more about that soon. All right, guys, take it easy. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.